Imagine you're in the middle of a lively conversation with an old friend, and suddenly a simple word you use every day just vanishes from your mind. It's right there, on the tip of your tongue. You know exactly what you want to say, but access has been mysteriously cut off. The awkward silence deepens. You smile weakly and try to disguise it, but inside, a chilling fear runs down your spine and a terrible thought arises. Is this the beginning? Am I losing my mind? Just like I saw happen to my parents. This silent terror of losing one's own identity, of forgetting the names of grandchildren and becoming a dependent burden to one's children is, without a doubt, the greatest nightmare for anyone over 50. But I need you to take a deep breath now and listen to me with complete attention, because what you call things of age or bad genetics may actually be a biological cry for help. Your brain isn't necessarily dying of an incurable disease right now. It's starving. He has fuel available in his blood, but he has lost the ability to use it, like a flooded engine that cannot start. Today, I'm going to prove to you that this mental fog, the inexplicable fatigue that hits right after lunch, and these frequent forgetfulness episodes are not a definitive sentence of decline. Modern science has already identified a serious energy crisis happening inside your head, often caused by a chronic and silent deficiency of a single vitamin, a true master key that has the power to reactivate brain metabolism and protect your neurons from death. We're going to delve deep into your body's biochemistry to understand how to reverse this brain starvation process, recover your mental agility, and guarantee your autonomy and dignity for decades. There's a specific, much more potent and absorbable form of this vitamin that most doctors unfortunately forget to mention, and it could be a game changer for your cognitive health starting today. Before we begin this journey to shield your memories, I want to know from you. Lately, have you felt that your memory is failing more than usual, or that your reasoning is slower when trying to find words? Please answer yes or no in the comments, as this is crucial for us to understand the seriousness of this problem in our community. To understand the gravity and solution of this problem, we need to demystify how your command center operates. Your brain is by far the most demanding and expensive organ in your body. Although it represents only about 2% of your total weight, it voraciously consumes 20% of all the energy you ingest. Imagine a high-performance car that requires premium fuel all the time. If the fuel flow is interrupted or contaminated, the engine not only sputters, it begins to suffer structural damage. What modern neuroscience has discovered is that, in many cases of cognitive decline, the problem is not a lack of fuel. You probably have enough sugar, glucose, circulating in your blood, but rather the brain's inability to process that energy. This is what we call brain starvation. Neurons are swimming in glucose, but dying of starvation because the gateways to their power plants are locked. Here enters the unseen protagonist of our story, vitamin B1 or thiamine. Think of it as the spark plug of the engine or the master key that opens the doors of the mitochondria, the power plants within each cell. Without adequate levels of thiamine, glucose cannot enter the famous Krebs cycle to be transformed into ATP, the energy currency of life. The result is catastrophic. The sugar, which should be energy, accumulates and becomes toxic, generating an aggressive inflammatory process. This is why you feel that devastating mental fatigue and difficulty thinking. It's not that you suddenly became stupid, it's that biologically your brain cells are operating in emergency mode, with the lights flickering and the power dropping, unable to sustain complex thoughts or form new memories. This phenomenon is so critical that renowned researchers and scientists have begun classifying Alzheimer's and related dementias as type 3 diabetes. Just as in traditional diabetes, the body develops insulin resistance in the brain, This resistance prevents neurons from receiving nourishment. The area most sensitive to this energy failure is the hippocampus, precisely the region responsible for recording new memories and locating you in space and time. When energy is lacking, the hippocampus is the first to pay the price. It begins to shrink physically. Visualize a juicy grape that slowly dries out until it becomes a raisin. This is exactly the brain atrophy we see in imaging exams of patients suffering from chronic deficiency of essential nutrients, losing volume and neural connectivity year after year. The most alarming finding, and one that most routine exams ignore, is the prevalence of subclinical B1 deficiency in the population over 50 years of age. Autopsy studies performed on the brains of patients who died with Alzheimer's disease revealed drastically low levels of thiamine-dependent enzymes, and interestingly, a direct correlation with the presence of the dreaded beta-amyloid plaques. Often, this deficiency is not caused by a lack of food, but by the intestinal malabsorption typical of old age, and mainly by the continuous use of common medications, such as diuretics for blood pressure and medications for gastritis, which steal B1 from the body. Therefore, we are facing a scenario where medicine treats the symptoms but ignores the root cause, the energy malnutrition that is silently shutting down your brain. Now that we've removed the veil of fear, and you understand that forgetfulness isn't necessarily the end of the line, but rather a desperate sign from a brain starved for energy, we need to move from theory to immediate action. It's not enough to simply know your spark plug is failing. You need a practical, safe, and proven battle plan to restore this mechanism before the damage becomes irreversible. That's why I've condensed all this complex biochemistry and the latest studies on neuroprotection into 4 essential steps that anyone can start applying today. Following this logical order is what will differentiate those who continue to suffer from mental fog from those who regain full control of their memory and their lives. I ask that you stay with me until the end of this list, because the sequence is vital to the success of the protocol. Step number 3 reveals the golden secret that conventional medicine rarely explains: a specific and superior form of this vitamin that has the unique ability to penetrate your blood-brain barrier and reignite the lights where they are dimmest. However, step number 1 is the foundation of everything and, ironically, is where most people fail miserably. If you ignore this first point, any effort at supplementation or dietary change will be like trying to fill a leaky bucket. You will be throwing precious resources away, while invisible enemies silently drain your mental battery every day. Let's start fixing that now. The first step, and perhaps the most crucial to stemming the bleeding of your mental energy, is to identify and neutralize the memory thieves. Imagine your body is a fuel tank, and vitamin B1 is the precious liquid that fills it. It's no use trying to fill this tank with supplements or food if there are huge holes in the bottom through which this energy leaks every day. The biggest and most dangerous of these holes is the excess of refined carbohydrates and sugar. The biochemical irony is cruel. To process every gram of sugar you eat, that white bread, the afternoon cake, or the excess pasta, your body is forced to use its B1 reserves. In other words, a diet rich in carbohydrates not only fails to nourish your brain, it actively sequesters the little vitamin you have, deepening the energy deficit and accelerating the death of neurons, creating a vicious cycle of exhaustion and brain starvation. But the thieves don't stop at sugar. They're hidden in habits that seem harmless and even healthy. Alcohol, even socially, inflames the intestinal lining and physically blocks the absorption of thiamine, acting as a solvent for your long-term memory. Another silent villain is the habit of drinking coffee or black tea immediately with or after meals. The tannins present in these drinks bind to vitamin B1 from food and prevent it from entering your bloodstream, negating the benefits of that healthy meal you just had. Furthermore, medications commonly used by those over 50, especially diuretics like furosemide, force the expulsion of B1 through urine at an alarming rate. You take the medication to control blood pressure or swelling, which is vital, but as an unmonitored side effect, you end up depleting your mental energy reserves. The practical instructions for closing these leaks in your system are simple, but require discipline. Start by drastically reducing simple carbohydrates that steal your nutrients, and move coffee away from main meals by at least an hour. If you continuously use diuretics or antacids, don't stop the medication on your own, but understand that your need for B1 replacement is much higher than that of an average person. By making these small corrections, you stop wasting the energy your brain so desperately needs. And now that we've stopped the leak, we need to refuel the system with high-octane fuel. This leads us to our second step, where nature offers us potent solutions, but often forgotten in the modern diet. Step number 2 is the strategic reintroduction of elite sources of thiamine to your diet. Contrary to popular belief, common fruits and vegetables contain very low amounts of this vitamin. For a hungry brain, we need concentration. The undisputed champion, unfairly demonized for decades, is lean pork. Pork loin, for example, has up to 10 times more B1 than other meats, making it a direct and bioavailable source to reactivate your mitochondria. Another powerful source is beef liver, a true natural multivitamin that, if consumed just once a week, already offers robust support not only of B1, but of the entire B complex that protects the myelin sheath of your nerves. Incorporating these proteins regularly is like replacing dirty engine oil with new, efficient lubricant. For those who prefer plant-based options or want to supplement their diet, there are two extraordinary allies: nutritional yeast and sunflower seeds. Yeast, which can be sprinkled on salads or soups like grated cheese, is a powerhouse of B vitamins, offering a therapeutic dose in a natural and tasty way. Sunflower seeds are the perfect afternoon snack. A handful provides a significant amount of thiamine to combat that end-of-day mental fatigue. By including these foods, pork, liver, yeast, or seeds, you are sending the raw materials your body needs to start producing acetylcholine again, the neurotransmitter responsible for recovering memories you thought you had lost. Before we reveal the scientific secret in the next item, I want to extend a quick invitation. If you're learning something new and want to continue receiving guidance based on real science to age with strength and clarity, make sure you've already liked this video and subscribed to the channel. Our mission here is to uncover the secrets of longevity that the industry doesn't tell you. Now, pay close attention. Although these foods are fantastic, there's a biological obstacle. The intestines of someone over 50 or 60 don't absorb nutrients like those of a 20-year-old. Often, even with a good diet, vitamins don't reach the brain in sufficient quantities to reverse years of damage. This is exactly where the next step comes in, the game-changing secret capable of breaking through any blockage to save your neurons. Step number 3 is what I call the secret to accelerated regeneration. And this is where science takes a giant leap in your favor. Remember, I said your brain is like an engine? Well, that engine is wrapped in fat. In fact, the brain is the fattiest organ in the body, composed of about 60% lipids. The problem with common vitamin B1, thiamine, found in cheap multivitamins, is that it's water-soluble, making it very difficult for it to cross the blood-brain barrier, a fatty wall that protects your brain in sufficient quantities to cure a severe deficiency. For a young person, common. Thiamine works well, but for an inflamed and aging brain, it's like trying to put out a fire with an eyedropper. You need something designed to cross that wall and deliver energy directly to where the neurons are dying. This is where benfotiamine comes in. It's a fat-soluble form of vitamin B1, modified in the lab to have super absorption powers. Studies show that benfotiamine can be up to 360% more bioavailable than regular thiamine, and most importantly, it can penetrate the fatty membrane of nerves and the brain with impressive ease. Once inside, it works by clearing toxic byproducts of excess sugar, drastically reducing inflammation and the biological rust we call glycation. Patients who introduce this specific form frequently report that the cloudy feeling in their head begins to dissipate within weeks, as if someone had finally wiped the dirty windshield of a car, allowing them to see the road of life clearly again. My practical instruction for this step is empowering. At your next appointment, don't just accept "it's all right for your age." Write down the name benfotiamine and talk to your doctor, neurologist, or nutritionist about the possibility of supplementing with this specific form, especially if you are diabetic or pre-diabetic. Dosage should be individualized, but knowing this tool exists puts you ahead of the vast majority of people who passively accept decline. However, I need to give you a crucial warning. There is a fatal flaw that can cause even the potent benfotiamine to not work in your body. You can take the best supplement in the world, but if its chemical partner is missing, the energy reaction simply doesn't happen, and that's what we're going to correct now in the fourth step. Step number 4 is to ensure the silent activator, magnesium. In the complex biochemistry of your body, vitamin B1 doesn't work alone. For it to transform into its active form and power, the mitochondria, it necessarily depends on the presence of magnesium. Think of magnesium as the key that turns the ignition. B1 is the fuel, but without the key, the car won't start. Unfortunately, magnesium deficiency is epidemic in the population over 50, whether due to nutrient-poor soil, chronic stress, or the consumption of processed foods. If you supplement B1 without having adequate magnesium levels, the vitamin will remain inert in your system, circulating without fulfilling its function, and you will continue to feel tired and forgetful, thinking that the treatment didn't work. To solve this, the practical solution must be twofold: diet and, if necessary, intelligent supplementation. Nature has placed magnesium at the center of the chlorophyll molecule, meaning that anything dark green is your ally. Kale, spinach, chard, and arugula should be part of your daily diet, not as a garnish, but as medicine. However, due to the depletion of modern soils, diet alone may not be enough to correct a deficiency accumulated over years. Therefore, consider, together with your healthcare professional, the use of highly absorbable forms of magnesium, such as magnesium dimilate, excellent for energy, or magnesium threonate, which has a special affinity for the brain. By combining benfotiamine with magnesium, you give your brain the complete package for energy restoration, creating the perfect biological environment for your memories to shine again. We have reached the end of this journey, and now you possess something worth more than gold. The knowledge that your memory is not doomed to disappear simply because you have completed another birthday. We have deconstructed the myth that forgetfulness and mental confusion are inevitable sentences of old age. You have seen, based on science, that what we often call dementia is actually a severe energy crisis, a type 3 diabetes where the brain starves while swimming in sugar. The thesis we defend here is liberating. By correcting the vitamin B1 deficiency, you are not just taking a supplement, you are reopening the doors of your cellular power plants, allowing the light of consciousness to shine brightly again in those dark rooms of your mind, where memories seemed lost forever. Now you have in your hands a complete and logical system to shield your mind. It's not a magic pill, but an integrated strategy. First, you stop the energy leak by reducing refined carbohydrates and alcohol that steal your vitality. Second, you replenish the tank with rich sources like pork and seeds. Third, you consider using benfotiamine to break through the brain's fat blockage. And fourth, you activate all of this with magnesium. By applying these steps, the expected result is not just remembering where you left the key, but recovering your vitality, quick reflexes, and the confidence that you will continue to be the protagonist of your own story, maintaining your autonomy and dignity to enjoy the growth of your grandchildren and great-grandchildren with complete lucidity. I know that sometimes fear knocks at the door, and you might think, is there still hope for me? Hasn't my brain suffered enough already? I want to look you in the eye and say, with all the authority of someone who studies human physiology, the body has a miraculous regenerative capacity, provided it receives the right raw materials. Never underestimate neuroplasticity. Your neurons want to survive. They want to make new connections. They just desperately need the energy that B1 provides. Starting today, even with small steps, can be the difference between spending the next 10 years sitting in an armchair watching life pass by in silence, or spending them actively, teaching, learning, and living with purpose. The choice to nourish your brain is ultimately an act of love for yourself and for all those who need you. To seal this commitment to your cognitive health, I want you to do one thing now. Go to the comments and write which of these steps you will apply first. I'm going to cut out sugar. I'm going to buy nutritional yeast, or I'm going to talk about benfotiamine. By writing, you make a public commitment to your own improvement. And if this content has opened your eyes to a new reality of health, be sure to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. We are building a community of people who refuse to accept decline as the norm. And I want you to join us in the next video, discovering more secrets to a full longevity. Take care of your B1. Take care of your mind and protect your memories for those you love. Before we definitively conclude, it is my responsibility as an educator to ensure that you know how to navigate these changes with complete safety. The excitement of discovering a possible solution for cognitive decline is understandable, but each person's biology is a unique and complex universe. What we present here is based on general evidence and population studies, but your body has a medical, genetic, and metabolic history that must be respected. Starting any supplementation protocol, even a natural one, requires caution, especially when other health conditions are already present or when continuous use of allopathic medications is underway. A crucial point of attention is for those who practice polypharmacy, that is, the use of multiple daily medications, common in this age group. The introduction of vitamins in therapeutic doses, such as benfotiamine or high doses of B-complex, can alter the speed at which your liver processes other substances. Although vitamins are essential nutrients, in high concentrations they act as potent pharmacological agents. Therefore, the golden rule is never to hide from your doctor what you are taking or intend to take. Transparency is your greatest protection against unwanted interactions that could overload your system. We must also take extra care with kidney health. The kidneys of a 60 or 70-year-old naturally filter blood more slowly than those of a young person. Although vitamin B1 is water-soluble and excess is usually excreted in urine without major problems, adding magnesium and making dietary changes rich in protein require that your kidneys are functioning well. If you have a history of kidney failure or kidney stones, supplementation with minerals such as magnesium should be strictly monitored by a nephrologist, as the accumulation of minerals in the blood can be dangerous if not properly filtered. There is also a curious and little discussed phenomenon called the paradoxical effect. In some rare cases, when a brain that has been starved for decades suddenly receives a large energy boost via thiamine or benfotiamine, the person may experience temporary agitation, headaches, or a strange coffee rush sensation, even without having drunk any. This is not necessarily a sign of toxicity, but rather that the metabolic gears are spinning too fast after being idle for too long. If this occurs, the practical advice is to reduce the dose immediately and introduce it gradually, allowing your cells to adapt to the new energy rhythm. Patience should be your main ally in this recovery process. Unlike a painkiller that relieves pain in 20 minutes, neuronal repair and the clearing of brain plaques and toxins follow biological time, not chronological time. You spent years, perhaps decades, creating this energy deficit and accumulating silent damage. It won't all be reversed in a week. Realistic expectations are crucial so that you don't give up halfway through. Structural changes in memory and cognition are usually clearly perceived after 90 to 120 days of consistency in the nutritional protocol. Furthermore, remember that vitamin B1 and magnesium don't work in a vacuum. They need a favorable biological environment. This means that hydration and quality sleep are non-negotiable. The brain does its nightly cleaning through the lymphatic system while you sleep, removing the toxins that B1 helped loosen. If you supplement but continue to sleep poorly or drink little water, you will be negating much of the benefit, as the metabolic waste will have nowhere to go. Integrative health is a puzzle where all the pieces need to fit together. I strongly emphasize that the role of this content is purely educational and informative, aiming to democratize access to scientific research that is often restricted to laboratories and universities. I do not know your medical history, allergies, or specific contraindications. Therefore, no information presented in this video replaces, under any circumstances, an in-person consultation, a formal diagnosis, or the advice of your trusted doctor. Self-diagnosis and self-medication based solely on internet videos can pose risks to your health. This video is not intended to promise a cure for Alzheimer's, dementia, or any other established neurodegenerative disease. Its purpose is to present preventative and metabolic support mechanisms that can improve quality of life and cognitive function based on the premise of correcting nutritional deficiencies. Any changes to your prescribed medication, whether for diabetes, hypertension, or neurological control, should be made exclusively by the healthcare professional who is monitoring your case and signing your prescriptions. Finally, by applying the information contained here, you assume full responsibility for your health and wellness choices. We believe in the power of the informed and proactive patient, one who arrives at the office capable of discussing options with their doctor and not just passively receiving orders. Use this knowledge as a tool for empowerment, bring your questions to your specialist, and together build the best path to your longevity. Thank you for trusting in our work, and may your journey towards a sharp and energetic mind be safe and victorious.